Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. On today's video tutorial, guys, we are still going through the grade 12 mathematical literacy paper 1 that was written in June 2022. And in this video tutorial, guys, we're going to be tackling question 4.1. And question 4.1 is under the topic of data handling, right? We are going to be interpreting data that is given to us here, right? And we are also going to be calculating the mean. Before you get started with today's video tutorial, guys, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you've clicked on that notification bell so that you get notified every single time I upload a new video tutorial, guys. And also don't forget to give this video tutorial a huge thumbs up, because that really helps the channel grow and it helps the channel to reach more learners that want to better their mathematics marks. So without any further ado, guys, let's get started with today's video tutorial. So like I mentioned, in today's video tutorial, we are going to be tackling question 4.1, and question 4.1 is still under the topic of data handling. We are going to be interpreting data that is given to us in our answer sheet, and we're also going to be calculating the mean, right? So let's have a look at the information that is given to us here. It says that the average monthly retail price for orange juice per liter in Canadian dollars, right? So when we see that CAD, it means Canadian dollars, for 2018 to 2021 is shown on the answer sheet. The actual data values for each month in 2020 are also indicated. Use the graphs on the answer sheet to answer the questions that follow, all right? So let's have a look at the first question. Question 4.1.1. It says calculate in Canadian dollars the difference between the price of orange juice in January 2019 and in February 2019. Okay, so let's just have a look at the answer sheet that is given to us here, and let's just see what is going on. Okay, so we've got a graph, or we've got a set of axes here that has different graphs, line graphs that are obviously drawn on it, right? These line graphs represents the average monthly price of orange juice in Canada, right? What we have on our y-axis is the average retail price in Canadian dollars, right? And then what we have on our x-axis is the months, right? So you've got January, February, March, all the way up to December. So you've got our 12 months there. Okay, we are also given a key here at the bottom, right? So the first key, right, that one there, okay, represents 2018. So this here is the retail, or the average retail price in Canadian dollar for what? For 2018, according to the key, right? In 2019, I'm also just gonna highlight it as well. Okay, so basically I've just highlighted just two line graphs just to make it easier for me to make reference to them when I'm obviously giving the explanation. Okay, so the yellow line graph represents our 2018, so that is that line graph there, right? The 2019, so the red graph that I've basically indicated there, that represents the 2019. The solid line represents our 2020, and then we've got this one here, this incomplete line graph that basically represents 2021. Okay, so let's have a look at the question again. We need to calculate in Canadian dollars the difference between the price of orange juice in January 2019 and in February 2019. Okay, so we're gonna have a look at our key here, right? Our 2019 is the line graph that we've basically highlighted in red, right? Okay, so we want the difference between the price of the orange juice in January 2019. Okay, so let's have a look. In January 2019, right, or the average retail price of the orange juice was 4.3 Canadian dollars. Okay, for January 2019. And for February 2019, the price for your or the average retail price for your orange juice in Canadian dollars was what? 4.1 Canadian dollars, right? So we basically want the difference between the prices of the orange juice. Okay. So in February 2019, the price was 4.1 Canadian dollars. Okay. And in January 2019, the price was 4.3 Canadian dollars. So we want the difference between these two average prices. So we're just going to take your February 2019 amount minus your January 2019 amount, right? So the February is 4.1 Canadian dollars, right? Minus the January one is 4.3 Canadian dollars. So if you punch those into your calculator, you'll find that you'll get a negative 0.20. Okay, you'll find that you'll get a negative 0.20. Okay, so what does this value basically mean, right? If we have a look at our graph, what do we see? From January 2019 to February 2019, there was basically a drop or a decrease, right, in the price or the average price of the orange juice in Canadian dollars, right? So in this case, that decrease amounted to 0.20 Canadian dollars. Okay. So the answer that we've basically written here basically means that, right, the price in February is 0.2. Okay. So our answer basically means that answer of negative 0.20 basically means that the price in February 2019 is 0.20 Canadian dollars less than the price in 2019. Okay, next question. Write down the month and year in which the price of the orange juice was at its lowest, right? So here we need to basically look at our answer sheet, right, and have a look at the month and the year in which the price of the orange juice was at the lowest. Okay, so we're going to look for the point where the price is at the lowest. Okay, so let's have a look here. Okay, so we're going to look for the lowest point here. Okay, right, so we see that the lowest point here is on February, right, 2018, because it's at that point there. February 2018 is the lowest point here on our graph, right? So that is the lowest point. There's no other point that is lower than this point, right? So that means that the price of the price of the orange juice was at its lowest when in February 2018. Okay, because we can see that here in February 2018, you can just see that the price of the orange juice was approximately like 3.98, right? Okay, so that was the lowest average retail price in Canadian dollars for the orange juice. Okay, right, next question. Question 4.1.3 states the month and the years in which the price of the orange juice was exactly the same. So let's have a look at the graph, and we want the month and the year in which the price of the orange juice was exactly the same. So this question is a bit tricky, okay, because of the wording, okay, we can get different answers. So for example, one might think that this part here, right, the price of the orange juice is basically the same, because if you know to extend this there, you'll find that the price of the orange juice is 4. Okay, so you'll see that for September and October, right? September 2018 and October 2019, the price of the orange juice is the same there, okay? Right? Another person might also think that November 2020 and November 2020, right, as well as December 2018, the price of the orange juice is also the same. But let's just take note of the wording, right? State the month and the years in which the price of the orange juice was exactly the same. So in this case, guys, we don't just only look at when the orange juice was exactly the same, but we focus on the month and the years, right? So there needs to be like an intersection. So that is basically what we're looking at. But if you gave your answers where you just basically focused on just where the orange juice was the same, you'll get half marks, right? But in this case, like I mentioned, we need to focus on where there's an intersection in the month and the year in which the orange juice was the same. So we'll see here that, okay, I'm going to highlight it. So the price of the orange juice at that point there's an intersection of two graphs there, right? So one graph is for your November 2019 and the other one is for your November 2018. So that intersection there shows us basically where the price of the orange juice was exactly the same for the month of November 2018 and as well as November 2019. Okay, so we look for that intersection, right, where in the same month but different years the price of or the average retail price of the orange juice in Canadian dollars was exactly the same. Okay, all right. Next question. Determine the median monthly price of the orange juice for 2020. Okay, so we're going to be focusing on the year 2020 and we want to find what the median monthly price of the orange juice was, right? So remember, if we want to find the median, we want to find obviously the middle value, right? Okay, so how do we calculate that? The first thing, guys, that we need to do is obviously get our data, extract our data, put it down on the answer sheet. Then we're going to arrange our data in ascending order from the smallest number to the biggest number. And then from there, we're going to start to look for the median monthly price of the orange juice. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so let's have a look at our graph, right? So what are we going to be focusing on here? We are going to be focusing on the year 2020. Okay, so the year 2020 is this solid line here, right? We are going to write down all these values. We're going to write down all these values. I'm just going to quickly circle them. Okay, so already at that point there, we are told that it's 4.35. That point there, 4.39. That point there, 4.23. That point there, 4.27. That point there, 4.43. That point there, 4.32. That point there, 4.26. That point there, 4.3. That point there, 4.13. Okay, that point there is 4.06. That point there is 4.143, and that point there is 4.24, right? So we're going to take all these values and I'm literally going to put them down. Okay, so here we've basically taken all these values here, okay, all the values that I've circled in red and I've just put them down, right? So what do we notice now? We notice that all these values are not in ascending order, right? Ascending order meaning from the smallest value to the biggest value. So what we need to do now is we need to first arrange this set of data in ascending order. And once we've arranged our data in ascending order, then we can start looking for our median. So let's just quickly arrange this data from the smallest value to the biggest value. Okay, so now I've arranged my data in ascending order. So we've got We can also check, we need to also check that we've got all our data values listed here, right? Remember, we've got 12 months, so we need to have 12 values. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So now we are able to proceed and calculate or find what our median value is, right? Guys, the median value is the value that is in the middle, right? So there's a way that we can also calculate this by using the formula, right? The median is equal to n plus 1 divided by 2, right? This is going to give us the position of our median value. So let's just do this using this formula quickly. How many values? This n, how many data values do we have here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you're going to put the 12 plus 1 divided by 2, okay? So 12 plus 1 is 13 divided by 2. So 13 divided by 2 is 6.5, right? So this median, right, or the middle value is in the 6.5th position, okay? So let's count. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ne? Okay. However, we are told that it's in the 6.5th position. So it's somewhere there, okay? Let's also check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So the median value is somewhere there. So how do we calculate that in this case? We basically need to take these two values here, okay? Add them up, okay? And divide it by 2, okay? So let's do that. It's going to be that 4.26 plus 4.27 divided by 2. Okay, so if you punch this into your calculator, you will get that now the median is equal to 4.265. All right, so that is how you basically get your median, right? Let's say when you basically use this formula n plus 1 divided by 2, you got like a value like a 7, right? So if let's say it was a 7 here, that would basically mean that the median is the number that's on the 7th position, right? So you'd count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Therefore, the median would have been your 4.27 if we got that number there to be 7. However, because we got that 6.5, that 6.5 tells us that the median is in the 6.5th or 6.5 position, right? So we need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So the half is in between there, right? You count then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? The half is in between there. So how do we get that? You need to just add the 4.26 plus the 4.27 and you divide it by 2. So that is basically how we calculate the median. But I'm still to upload more video tutorials where we go dive deeper into our data handling, where I explain how you calculate your median, your average, your quartile 1, your quartile 3, your range, right? So please make sure that you have obviously subscribed to the channel, because I will be uploading videos where I go through those lessons in detail. Okay, so the median in this case is 4.265. Okay, and then guys, it's very important, we shouldn't forget our units, right? So the median, considering our units, is 4.265. Okay, so that is our median. Next question. Question 4.1.5 says, describe the trend of the price of the orange juice from February 2018 to July 2018, right? So if you have to describe the trend, right, what do we see happening from February 2018 to July 2018? Okay, so let's go to our graphs. So February 2018, okay, February 2018 is this point there, and July 2018 is this point there. Okay, so what is happening, right, during that period? So what we notice is from February 2018, the average retail price in Canadian dollars of your orange juice basically increases, right? So it steadily increases. In February to March, it increases. From March to April, it increases steadily. From April to May, it increases, right? And then from May to June, it increases. Then we notice that from the June to the July, right, it decreases slightly. Okay, so we are basically going to write that down, that the price increases steadily, right, until it reaches June, right? Thereafter, it decreases slightly. Right, so the price increases steadily from February to June, and when it reaches June, it decreases slightly. Okay, so that is basically the trend that is happening from February 2018 to June 2018. Okay, we're going to write that down. All right, okay, so the price increases steadily until it reaches June. Thereafter, it decreases slightly. Next question. 4.1.6. Okay. An analyst predicted that the price of the orange juice would drop by 0.16 Canadian dollars from February 2021 to March 2021. Determine the year-on-year percentage increase from March 2020 to March 2021. You may use the following formula. So with this question, they've made it nice and easy for us because we have been provided with a formula to use. Okay, so we've been given this nice formula that we need to use to basically help us get the year-on-year percentage increase. Okay, from March 2020 to March 2021. Okay, so before we can even get started, what do we need to do? We need to get what the average retail price for the Canadian juice was in March 2020. We also need to get what the average retail price was for the average Canadian retail price of the orange juice was in March 2021. Need to write those values down. Once we've got that, we just need to substitute those values into this formula and we are done. Okay, simple as that. Okay, so what was the average retail price in Canadian dollars for the juice in March 2020? So we're going to have a look at March. Which one is our 2020? It is our solid line. So the retail price was 4.23 Canadian dollars in March 2020, right? And then what was the average retail price in Canadian dollars for the juice in March 2021, right? Okay, so now we've got the average retail price for the orange juice in Canadian dollars for March 2020, and we got it to be 4.23, right, Canadian dollars, right? So now we need to basically figure out how much was the average retail price for your orange juice for March 2021, right? So you'll have a look here. When we basically look at your graph, you will see that it is incomplete. Okay, so we can't get this value for your March 2021 because this is the key for your year 2021, and as you can see, this graph is incomplete, right? It stops there on your February. Okay, so it's incomplete, so we don't know what the March 2021 figure is. However, we were given information here, right? They told us that, right? We are given information here, right? They tell us that the price of the orange juice would drop by 0.16 Canadian dollars from February 2021 to March 2021, right? So the fact that we've got the price of, or the average retail price of the orange juice in Canadian dollars for February 2021 is great because we can just minus that 0.16 to get what the price is for your March 2021. Okay, so let's have a look at our graph. Okay, so what is the price, right, or the average retail price in Canadian dollars of the orange juice in February 2021, right? So we have a look at there. So the price for February 2021, right, it's on that point there. So we basically need to figure out what is that amount there, right? So we need to figure out how many units are we going up by, right? Okay, so to get that, you can just say, okay, you can just say that 4.5 minus 4.4, right? So 4.5 minus 4.4, right? That will give you 0.1. And that 0.1, you need to divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0.1 divided by 5 is going to give you 0.02. So we are going up by 0.02 units every time. Okay, so that is how we are going to get that point there. Okay, if you don't get that 4.5 minus 4.4, you basically need to think about this manually. Okay, if you've got 4.4 here, you've got 4.5 there, right? How much are we going up by? Okay, and you'll see that if you say 4.4 plus 0.02 plus 0.02 plus 0.02 plus 0.02 plus 0.02 will take you to 4.5. Okay, right. So now let's figure out then what is that value there. So 4.4 plus 0.02, that value there is 4.42. Okay, then plus 0.02 is 4.44 plus 0.02 is 4.46, right? So which is what we want there. Okay, and I'm just going to continue plus 0.02, 4.48, 4.48, and if you say plus 0.02, you'll have the 4.5. Okay, but we actually didn't have to continue. I just did that. So I just did that so that you guys would see how we basically get to the 4.5. Okay, so from here we can see that, okay, that point there for your February 2021 is actually 4.46. Okay, so to get the value for March 2021, we want to take the February value for 2021 and you are going to minus it by your 0.16 Canadian dollars. Okay, so what is the value for your February 2021, right? I already showed you guys here that it is 4.46. Okay, so it's 4.46 Canadian dollars minus 0.16 Canadian dollars. If you punch that into your calculator, you'll get 4.30 Canadian dollars, right? So that is the price or the amount for what? For your March 2021, right? So however, we are not done. We still need to basically find what the year-on-year percentage increase is from March 2020 to March 2021 using this formula that is given to us here. So I'm literally going to substitute the new value. What is the new value? The new value is the value that we got for March 2021. What is the old value? The old value is the value that we have for March 2020. The old value is the value that we have for your March 2020, and you multiply it by 100. Okay, so let's do that. All right, so the new value is equal to the 4.30 Canadian dollars minus the old value is that 4.23, right? So this is the new value because this is the most recent one. This is the old value because this is the older value, right? Divided by the old value, which is 4.23 multiplied by 100. Okay, we want the percentage increase, guys. If you multiply by 100, you will get your answer in percentage, right? So you don't have to include the percentage there as well. Okay, right? So if you multiply by 100, your answer will be in percentage, right? Okay, so if you punch it into your calculator, you'll find that the percentage increase is 1.65%. Okay, so that is our final answer. Okay, and the last question, the analyst's prediction for the price of the orange juice for the rest of the year 2021 is shown in table 3 below, right? Remember, we did mention that for your year 2021, this graph is basically incomplete. It stops at February, right? So we basically now need to complete this line graph by plotting all the values that are given to us here. Okay, so in this point here, you just need to make sure that obviously you have put in all the missing values obviously in your y-axis, right? And that will just make the plotting easier. So I'm just going to do that and you can just follow with me to see if you are plotting your graph correctly. Okay, so April, the value for April was 4.25, right? So we're going to go up to April and look for 4.25. So that's going to be 4.2. Okay, remember we go up in 0.02. So if you take 4.2 plus 0.02, okay, that's 4.22. If you plus 0.02, get 4 point, that point there is 4.24 plus 0.02, it's 4.26. Okay, that is that point there. So the 4.25 is somewhere in between there. So if that's 4.27, that's 4.26. So 4.25 is somewhere there. The May value is 4.28, so we're going to plot that. Okay, 4.28 is there. The June value is 4.3. 4.3 is there. The July value is 4.03. 4.05, sorry. July value is 4.05. So the July value is 4.05. It's 4.02. This is 4.04. 4.05 is somewhere there. August is 4.35. 4.35, right? It's 4.3. 4.02. 4.3. 4.3. 4.32. 4.34. 4.35 is somewhere there. September 4.2 is there. October 4.15. 4.1, 4.12, 4.14, 4.15 is somewhere there. Okay. November 4.27, 4.2, 4.22, 4.24, 4.26, 4.27 is somewhere there. December 4.2. December 4.2 is somewhere there. Okay, and guys, this is where you basically need to obviously now use a ruler to draw your points. Okay, so you need to use a ruler. Please take notes here. I cannot, let me do this actually, let me see if I can find. Okay, so you need to use a ruler and you need to draw everything accurately. So I'm going to now connect my points. Please follow with me. All right, so we've basically tried to draw this graph here, right? So I connected all the dots and also made sure that I followed the key that was initially given to us, right? So please make sure that your lines are straight, you connect all your dots accurately. And this is basically what I have here. I'll also show a picture of just the memo so that you get the actual, or I'll show the memo here so you see how your graph is supposed to look. This is how my graph looks, right? And that is that, guys. So with today's question, we were literally still just interpreting data that was given in our answer sheets here, right? Okay, we were looking at these different line graphs that were given to us here and using them to answer the questions that were given. What was important from this question is obviously calculating the median, right? So I gave you guys the formula that you guys should use to help you guys get the position of the value that is in the middle, right? And that is that formula. Alternatively, I did also mention that you could basically count how many are the values on the left and the values on the right, and you should have the same amount of values, right? So if you can see here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So our middle values here is 4.26 and 4.27. So you just add them up together and you divide it by 2, and that helped us to get our median. Okay, and for 4.1.5, we just literally 4.1.6, we just literally had to now draw the missing graph, and here it's just about understanding how many units we go up by. Okay, on our scale here, and we saw that we went up by 0.02 units. We need to obviously fill that up, and when we obviously plotting our points, we need to take that into consideration. Okay, so that is it for today's video tutorial. This one is a bit longer than the previous ones because we had to do more. We had to do some plotting. We had to be arranging data in ascending order, right? We had to now read off information accurately and figure out how many units are we going up by and so on and so forth. So obviously it was a bit longer, right? But I hope you guys enjoyed the video tutorial, and I'll see you guys on my next upload. In the next video tutorial, guys, we are going to be tackling question 4.2, and finally we are going to be dealing with tariffs, water tariffs, right? So we're going to be looking at this table. I think this part of math literacy gives students a bit of a headache. So please make sure that you have subscribed, because I'll make sure that I explain this part very, very like in a simplified way. So just make sure that you have clicked on that notification bell. Okay, so I'll see you guys on my next upload. That is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye, guys.